Hello everyone, I'm Nizzahon here for the Aether Hub recording an Aether Revolt draft video. So let's go ahead and jump in the queue. Okay, well, this is an interesting choice. We've got Fatal Push, which is still worth a fair number of tickets and is worth considering because of that. And I say that because you can draft more on Magic Online anyway if you take value cards, which actually makes you better in the long run at drafting because you get to draft more, at least, you know, if you have a budget. Fatal Push is still worth like 4 tickets. Yahennie's Expertise is really good. And it's worth 2 tickets. So I think I'm actually going to take it. It's the better card of the two, and it's not worth quite as much as Fatal Push. But it's the better card of the two. It's a huge bomb. What's funny is I actually drafted one of these for the draft video on my channel this week. It was my first pick even. So maybe it'll be the exact same draft. That would be eerie. But yes, same first pick is on my channel this week. But other cards of note, like if we didn't have this here, it would be Fatal Push. There's nothing else that comes close. Scrapper Champion is the next best card after that. You know, cards like Bastion, Inventor, and Augmenting Automaton are good, but they're not first pickable, really. We're taking the Expertise. It's just really good. Okay. Well, here we have a less interesting pack. It's not a very strong one, especially. Our Rare is a fine card. I mean, a 2-mana, 2/1 in the late game is sometimes a 4/3. Nothing exciting. Reverse Engineer is good. These two uncommons are both pretty bad. I know some people are high in Consulate Dreadnought, but I can't get behind that kind of strategy just because it does nothing if you don't draw your combo pieces or have enough creatures in play, and it's still super vulnerable to all the removal ever, including Fragmentize and stuff. Anyway, it's either Reverse Engineer or Dawn Feather Eagle. These are both pretty great cards. I have to decide on one of them. I could take Fenhauler, but these two just have a much higher ceiling. And blue-black is frequently an artifact deck. Black-white isn't a color combination I love, so I think I'm going to have that be the tiebreaker and take Reverse Engineer. Okay, here we have a Skyship Plunderer, which is a nice little card. There's also a Chandra's Revolution, though, which is a good removal spell. Black isn't looking super open, so we could end up not being able to play our black, very powerful black card. And if that's the case, taking Spire Patrol is not bad either. It's a good little blue-white card. I could think about taking it. It's definitely the strongest card in this pack, although Chandra's Revolution and Dawn Feather Eagle are both pretty good as well. I think I may take the Patrol, with the tiebreaker being that at least I have a blue card. So, I mean, the Skyship Plunderer, Spire Patrol, and Chandra's Revolution are all good, and Dawn Feather Eagle too, but I think Spire Patrol is the best in this pack, and I'm going to go ahead and take it. We'll see what happens. It does mean, you know, it does increase our chances of not being able to play our Expertise, but we're staying sort of open and just sort of seeing what happens. White sort of keeps beating me over the head with the idea that I should be playing it, because now we see Caught in the Brights and a third Dawn Feather Eagle. So we could have, black-white for us could have actually been good, because you can make a go-wide deck with it, and if you have 3 Dawn Feather Eagles, I'm kind of leaning towards just taking Cruel Finality here over Caught in the Brights because we already have a black card, but I could also end up blue-white, and I think what that means is I should take Caught in the Brights because it's a better card than Cruel Finality, basically, is why. So we're going to take it. It can stop most creatures. It does have the downside of being an aura, which in this format is a big deal. This is a weird format in the sense that cards like Caught in the Brights would normally be like definitely the best white common in most formats, but in this format with all the bouncing and things like that, there's lots of easy main boardable enchantment removal because it also blows up artifacts. These removal spells aren't as good as they used to be. Okay, well, here we have Cruel Finality. We could also think about Efficient Construction. Blue-white isn't exactly good at playing artifacts. It doesn't have other payoffs for them, but black-blue does, and I think in a draft video a couple weeks ago or a week ago for the Aether Hub, I drafted one, and my deck was great, but I never really got to go off with it. And I want to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to take Efficient Construction here, see if we can do that. Okay, so it's looking more and more like blue-white is most likely. There's like a decent black card here. I'm thinking of taking Stratagem. Blue-white has like the most enter the battlefield abilities there are, basically, and Spire Patrol we already have one reason to want them. We could also take the Automaton. We do, of course, have one card with Improvise. But I feel like we can get artifacts pretty easily. I'm going to take the Stratagem, and that increases the value of cards with Enter the Battlefield abilities. Okay, well now, what is going on here? Black just seemed like non-existent for several packs, and this pack now shows up. And I think I'm going to take Foundry Hornet just because it's the best of them in a vacuum. Fenhauler is also good, but Ironclad Revolutionary is not so good. Universal Solvent's okay, and it would work. It would be good for our Efficient Construction and Reverse Engineer. So maybe we should take something like that instead. That'll make our deck no matter what. Whereas the Hornet, if black ends up not being open enough, which, you know, this pack indicates maybe it is, but I think I'm going to take the Solvent instead. It's a decent removal spell. Okay, well, here we have Leave in the Dust versus the Automaton, and I think I'll take the Automaton. I don't think we're going to be playing black, the more I see here. We're going to leave it in here. It's not easy to splash, unfortunately. We could take another Automaton or a Bastion Inventor, and I think with Efficient Construction, I'm going to go with the Automaton. Okay, well, now there's some good black cards, like Resourceful Return. That's what I'll take here. We could still end up losing white and ending up veering back into a blue-black deck without too much effort. Not a huge fan of any of these cards. The two that are in potential colors are Shipwreck Moray and Aether, whatever, the bad Aether guy, basically. So we could take an Implement. If we end up in white, that's fine. But Leave in the Dust is just a better card, and blue seems to be plenty open, so I'll take a Renegade's Getaway here. White is now looking less likely, so, which I don't hate because, you know, we have Yahennie's expertise, so. But black and white may be the wrong colors, and the second color we want may not be either of them. It's entirely possible. So we probably want around 10 artifacts to really feel good about Efficient Construction. We're already at 3, and that's not too bad. And now we're at 4, so basically, like, I like this format a fair amount, but I do think it has one sort of glaring weakness as far as formats go, and that is the fact that I think Improvise is just the strongest thing you can do. Like blue-black artifacts, red-black artifacts, and, you know, other color combinations with those 3 colors are basically just the strongest. You can sometimes get a Revolt deck together that's incredible, but it's hard to do, and I've been more impressed with decks like this one. So here, Maulfish Revolutionary is the best card in this pack, but we're not green, nowhere near green. And our choices are Disallow, which is a good card, but I don't love first picking it. I mean, it's cancel most of the time in a format like in Limited. Trophy Mage and Aether Swooper are both good. Trophy Mage can grab us Watchful Automatons. The Swooper's probably just better for us, though. It makes artifacts, and yes, the artifacts don't count for Efficient Construction, but they do count for Reverse Engineer and our other artifact synergies. So I think I take the Swooper here. We also could use some 2-drops. We don't have any yet. Is Disallow worth something? I probably should have checked that. I feel like it probably is, and that should have made it into my thought process. Oh, it is. 2 tickets. Should have kept that in mind. Okay, so another Caught in the Brights. It would be kind of nice if we could pick up some ways to splash. Perilous Predicament's okay, but there's just board states where it doesn't do anything, or it does very little, and I don't want it for that reason. So, definitely playing Caught in the Brights, 2 of them, might compete with Yahennie's expertise for how good that is. Plus we get Spire Patrol, so I think I may be veering back into white here with what we're seeing. Cruel Finality's okay, but 2 Caught in the Brights plus Spire Patrol seems pretty good to me. Oh, and there's a Renegade map, so that could help us splash. This pack, Chandra's Revolution, is probably just the best card, like in a vacuum. But again, I don't think we're going to be playing red. I think we take Renegade map, which will let us splash one way or another. Granted, you can't splash Yahennie's expertise very well. We'd need like 4 Renegade maps, maybe more. But we're going to take it between Improvise and Efficient Construction. I would love a second Efficient Construction. Okay, well, Spire Patrol number 2, I think, has officially locked me into blue-white. I could take a 3rd Caught in the Brights, too. And black is just not there for us. So that's a good lesson to learn about Limited. That sometimes is one of the harder ones. Is sometimes when you first pick a great bomb, you just have to give it up because you're just not getting there the way you want to. You're just the color is not open enough. Okay. Well, We do have Maverick Thopterist here, which we can splash without too much trouble, and I think that's just what we take. Probably not going to end up playing this Moray. But yeah, I think we just take the Thopterist. Yep. We have one Renegade map already, so we're in decent shape for splashing. So we've got Whir of Invention, but our deck isn't really going to end up being a super heavy artifact deck. I mean, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we do lose this, don't we? So we only have 4, 5-ish artifacts right now. Don't really want a second Illusionist Stratagem either. I guess I take Bastion Inventor or Ice Over. It's not. We have some removal, but yeah, I think I'm going to take the Inventor. We may get there on Improvise. I mean, we do have Efficient Construction pushing us to take things. Okay, Aether Swooper helps with Improvise, but not with Efficient Construction. Automaton would help with it, but Aether Swooper is enough better that I think we just have to take it. Double Spire Patrol and Maverick Thopterist is pretty nice. We're trying to be like blue-white skies. And by the way, Illusionist Stratagem also works really well with Maverick Thopterist. So we have 3 good targets for it already, and maybe we'll pick up a few more. White also hasn't been incredibly open, but blue's so open that we can sort of pick our second color. And when you have 2 Spire Patrols and 2 Cotton the Brights, I think you should probably be playing white. So that's what we're going to do. Efficient Construction needs about 6 more artifacts before I'm going to feel good about it. We do have 3 good payoffs for playing artifacts, so keep that in mind. Okay, so now we have a Dawn Feather Eagle. We passed so many of them early, and I think now we're finally going to take one. Yeah, we don't want Ornithopter, even though it's an artifact. It's not doing it for me. Reservoir Walker's okay, and I might think about taking it if this Dawn Feather Eagle wasn't here, but it is, so we're going to take it. +1/+1 and Vigilance to your whole team is awesome. Okay, so here, do we want Trophy Mage, which will draw us a Watchful Automaton? Or do we want Hinterland Drake, which is just a better creature than Trophy Mage is? Do I want the value or the more aggressive card, basically? I think with the Improvise I have, Trophy Mage kind of gets pushed over the edge in front of Hinterland Drake because we want to get artifacts in play, and it can help us do that. Right, we're going to take Universal Solvent here. I don't like Aether Inspector very much. We could think about taking Welder Automaton just to have a 2-drop, and we're going to be splashing red. Maybe I want that instead. Another 2-drop doesn't hurt. We're occasionally going to be able to use his ability. Solvent is a... Yeah, I think I will take the 2-drop. Not the most exciting. Yeah, I guess I'll take this Implement. We're suddenly up to 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts, so... Man, if we can get a bunch of Thopter tokens in play and then play Dawn Feather Eagle, I'll be a pretty happy person. This Implement is kind of the worst one, mostly because Revolt hasn't really panned out as a thing you can accomplish every draft. Wow, Rogue Refiner. I'll take it. We're getting there on artifacts all of a sudden pretty easily. And white doesn't usually have Improvise, but we've got 3 cards with it because of splashing and what our second color is. I'm going to take a Negate from my sideboard over a second Moray. We might actually want this. We'll see what we pick up in our last pack, but with 2 Spire Patrols and a Maverick Thopterist, it's actually worth considering. Even Trophy Mage, to some extent. And even Aether Swooper, to the least extent of all. But, you know, it gets you more energy at least. Okay, well, we've got Renegade Freighter. It's probably just what we take here. Essence Extraction's great. Dynavolt Tower can be fun, but it's not really playable most of the time anymore because you just don't end up with enough ways of making energy. So, and a spells deck doesn't really exist, so you can't really like be building it in the first 2 packs. But it's a cool card. Aether Theorist is fine too, but I think we probably just take Renegade Freighter. We've got lots of creatures who can crew it. And it's another artifact too. So I'm all over that. Wouldn't mind seeing Prophetic Prism to really secure us into splashing red instead of... I think we're actually going to get there on Efficient Construction. This is on the outside looking in, and so is Leave in the Dust, I think. Okay. We could take Revoke Privileges to give us another removal spell. We could think about P-Foul. We could even think about Puzzle Knot and Beaumont Bizarre Barge. But I kind of just want to go for the removal, I think. And these guys are probably on their way out. But yeah, I'm going to go for the removal. We're doing it. Removal. Oh, Aether Hub can help us splash. So that's worth thinking about. Freaking Welding Sparks is worth splashing. There's also another Renegade Freighter. Also, wouldn't mind Aviary Mechanic with what we have, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I want a second Renegade Freighter? Or an Aether Hub or an Aether Meltdown? One of these Aether cards. Or Aviary Mechanic. Why can't these cards just be, you know, spread out a little more than this? I think I'm going to go for the Freighter between the artifact synergies we have and it just being a really good card. Hub would help us splash a little easier, but I think we can get away splashing red with just one Renegade map anyway, so I feel pretty good about that. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 artifacts, plus our 2 swoopers, which don't count for efficient construction. Animation module. So, Metalwork Colossus. We've got 2 Renegade Freighters and these 4 things, which will cheapen him, make him cost less. Don't think we need another Revoke Privileges. I think we're basically set on removal now. Kind of thinking about taking Metalwork Colossus. That seems fun, right? You know, just making him cost 7 or 8 even isn't too terrible. We could also take Glassblower's Puzzle Knot. We have, you know, 1 energy sink, and we also have efficient construction. That might be the safer bet. Probably is the safer bet. As underwhelming of a card as it is in a lot of ways. I mean, you know, we could start picking up Puzzle Knots after we pick up our... I'm going to take the Colossus. That just seems more fun to me. Okay, Windrake, I guess. Yep. Aether Trade Winds. I guess Aether Trade Winds is worth looking at. But we kind of need more creatures if we're going to be running 2 Renegade Freighters. Okay, Self-Assembler. We did not pick up the other half of Self-Assembler. And by that I mean the other assembly worker creatures. I think I take Bastion Mastodon here. We are really low on 2s, but I think I'm okay with that. We need to trim some 3s, most likely. I think Windrake may be out, for example. Can we get away with 16 lands? I think we probably can, because we have a Renegade map and a bunch of Improvise. Especially if we're not playing Metalwork Colossus. So let's put him over here for now. We may end up having to cut 1 Freighter just because we have so few creatures that it's not going to be super easy for us to crew. So that's worth thinking about. Doesn't look like we're going to get a Prophetic Prism, sadly. But what are you going to do? Calm Ball. I wish I could splash that. So here we have another Aether Trade Winds. We also have Windrake and Thriving Turtle. Thriving Turtle just doesn't get there very often anymore because you don't make enough energy. Calm Ball would be fun to splash, but we're already kind of pushing our splashing. So we could take another Windrake or a Trade Winds. I just don't see really either of them making the cut, and I guess Aether Trade Winds gives me a second different card in my sideboard, I mean. Why are we getting like all the gold cards we could splash? But here we're going to take Aviary Mechanic. We have 3 creatures who are really good with it, and it's just a 2-drop, which is something we need. So that's what we'll take. Okay, we also have Acrobatic Maneuver here, which is good with a few of our cards, but I don't think it's good with enough of them. Okay, Nimble Innovator it is. Riparian Tiger. Okay, we could think about playing this Puzzle Knot in the end. Got some things to look at here. You could even think about playing a Curio Vendor if we're desperate enough for 2-drops. I wish I'd picked up a second Efficient Construction. I just know I won't draw it at all. I can feel it. Like happened to me a few weeks ago. Or a week. I think it was actually a week ago, if I'm remembering correctly. So we could think about losing Trophy Mage, but she gets me Renegade Freighter now, so that's a pretty good combination there. Okay, so cards that I feel like are sort of on the chopping block are Illusionist Stratagem a little bit. Oh, that works with Dawn Feather Eagle too, I guess. Worth noting. Definitely, I think Curio Vendor's probably not going to make the cut if we're lucky. Glassblower's Puzzle Knot. So we only need to cut 2 cards. And without the Puzzle Knot, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 artifacts. That's plenty. So I think the Puzzle Knot is out. I mean, it could increase our chances of playing our Colossus because it gives us another non-creature artifact. But we still don't have a ton. I mean, we've got the 2 Renegade Freighters and 4 1-drop ones, and most of them are just going to go away for various reasons. We sacrifice them. We use all of them and throw them in the graveyard. So Stratagem is really, really good with Spire Patrol, Maverick Thopterist, and Dawn Feather Eagle. But I think I may bring it out of the sideboard more against an opponent who is using aura-based removal like we are. So I think I probably lose it. And I think this is probably our deck. We definitely have enough artifacts for Bastion Inventor to be perfectly good. Let's just hope we get this efficient construction. But it looks like fun. We're splashing a little bit of red. We're going to run 1 mountain and then probably more islands than anything. Yeah. Double Renegade Freighter with 13 creatures doesn't feel great, but it's probably okay. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. 871. All right. Well, this looks like the deck looks like it should be fun. So I will see you guys in the first match. All right. So we're going to the first match of an Aether Revolt draft, and our hand is bad, bad, bad. Need some more lands than that. So we're going to mulligan. Ooh, well, there's efficient construction. So got to keep that one, right? That's the dream right there. So we got some early artifacts for our improvised guys. We don't have a ton of improvise in our deck, but we have efficient construction, as you can see. Question is, should I hold on to my solvent? I'm thinking about doing it right now. Might not be the best play, but keeping it for my efficient construction coming into play seems pretty good. Well, our opponent is probably splashing pretty hard over there. Okay, well now I feel a little stupid that I did that because I went and drew a card with improvise. So playing the 1-drop artifact probably was better, but you know, it's cool. Renegade map. No, it looks like there are only 2 colors. Or he really wanted double red for some reason. Sweatworks Brawler, okay. Ooh, plus Prey Upon. That's a messed up thing to do to somebody. Okay. I think I'm going to play... Watchful Automaton here. Seems like the Scry could come in handy if things really go south for us here. Like if we just can't hit a 4th land. Take 3. Beaumont Bazaar Barge. That is not good news. Renegade Freighter isn't terrible news, though. Yeah, I guess I play the Freighter. Still means I take a bunch of damage. We need a 4th land so bad. We can play Bastion Inventor soon, but it's probably... Oh, that's bad. We are so dead. Look at that. Release the Gremlins. Okay. We take 8 to the face. And efficient construction is not going to be very efficient here. We take too much damage. I think we may as well just scoop and not show him anything else. If he sees efficient construction, he could sideboard differently. I think scoop in there is optimal. So Why does our opponent have to be running Release the Gremlins? Makes our plan a lot less functional. But we'll just run this back out there. Okay, I think that's a keeper. We're going to lead with our Renegade map now. Ooh, that is some good news. Bad news is we have to lose our Renegade map to get the red for it, but, you know, that's okay. Seed Sculptor. Yeah, we'll crack our map. Grab our one mountain. And we want to play our artifact here, I think, so that we can play Maverick Thopterist for cheap next turn. We can also then bounce our Maverick Thopterist and cast it again. So we're going to just try to kill our opponent with Thopters in this one. No attacks, huh? Interesting. I guess I could double block it, and he can only kill one of my creatures. I wouldn't have, but my opponent doesn't know that. So I guess you're the worst blocker, so I'll tap you down. I could leave mana up, but I think leaving the blocker up is marginally better, since I can't do anything with untapped creatures really anyway. I mean, an additional mana anyway. Ooh. He can really mess us up. We need our removal for that. Okay. We're gonna attack with both our Thopters. Gonna have to try to outrace our opponent here with Thopters. Gonna play Aviary Mechanic and return Maverick Thopters to my hand. And then play it again. Gives me 2 more Thopters. So our opponent can just attack at will with his Outland Boar. I don't have anything that can block it, so it's not so good for us. I'm hoping our opponent doesn't have any flyers, though. Treasure Keeper. Okay, well, we at least have mana sinks. That's the upside of having all of this mana, I guess. It's not really an upside, but... End our turn. Yeah, that's not good. Can make his Outland Boar hit us even harder now. Okay. We're probably going to be scrying instead of doing damage to our opponent. We could do one of each, I guess, but... Ooh, yeah, that's brutal. I think we just have to take 8 here, sadly enough. I feel like if we give up... Like, double blocking the Treasure Keeper is just so bad. I think I'd rather just take 8. Okay, so we're going to go scry. Good. We're just going to leave that on top then. That is what we wanted to draw. Is it better to put it on the Treasure Keeper or the Boar now is the question. Probably the Boar, because at least in a pinch I can block the Treasure Keeper. Like if I have to, I can chump it, for example. That's more that can be said about the Boar. So we're gonna go ahead and revoke his privileges here. Does our opponent attack? Okay. He does. I think I double block this with these 2 cards and just take the 4. I guess I could also double block Treasure Keeper, which isn't terrible. Then my opponent's left with a 2/3, and I still have 4 Thopters. But I think for now, let's do that. Drops us down to 4. Lifecraft Cavalry, that is bad news. Don't want that. Yeah, he's a 6/6, so he is quite large. Oh, good. You can make him even bigger now. Yeah, I think we probably end up losing this game in the end. We can scry at our upkeep. I guess we kind of have to, or we're just like straight up dead. So we're going to scry at our upkeep and try to hit another Revoke Privileges or Caught in the Brights. Yeah, we got to use it on Lifecraft Cavalry or we're just dead, so. That's not going to do it. No, I mean, it's 3 toughness, I guess. More of blocking, but I have to give up 2 toughness of blocking to do it, so it's not enough. So we're just going to scry the 1 time. Okay. That does something. I have to leave up mana enough and blockers enough, but... So I think we go... Yeah. Ah, man. We drew so many extra cards and we couldn't hit it. We did draw Universal Solvent, but obviously we can't cast it now. I mean, we can, but we can't use its ability. So I think we're just dead. 6 trample. I mean, we're not quite dead, I guess, but we're about as close as you can be without actually being dead. Oh, it's going to be 8 trample. I know he's moving them there. No, he's not. He's not moving them at all. Yeah, we're just dead. That's too bad. We even got to Thopter twice. There's efficient construction. It eludes me. All right, I will see you guys in the next match. All right. So our second match, we lost our first one. This is a very good hand, and we will keep it. Tried to kill our opponent with Thopters, but he killed us with a pig before we could kill him with our Thopters. Sadly. But this is a good hand. I mean, Trophy Mage to draw us one of our automatons. We've got some early artifacts if we draw our cards with Improvise. For some reason, I have a hold on my upkeep. Oh, it's because I just scryed on my upkeep. Gotcha. That explains it. So we're going to play Universal Solvent. That's all we can do. Then we'll play Swooper, probably into Trophy Mage. Of course, depends on what we draw. Implement of Ferocity. Hey, we have all of our colors without having to try too hard. I didn't try at all, really. So play Aether Swooper. Handicraft. So our opponent's going to try to +1/+1 counter us, I would say. Seems like a fair guess. I'm going to attack, get a Thopter. And then I'm going to play Trophy Mage and get... Well, do I want Renegade Freighter more? I think I might want Renegade Freighter more. Renegade Freighter it is. The Automaton, you know, could attack sooner, but the Freighter, yep, we're going to get +1/+1 countered, as predicted. Ooh, that's really good. Okay, well, we're not even going to play Renegade Freighter yet. We're just going to attack with... Maybe we could play Renegade Freighter instead, I guess. But I think getting those Thopters out there as soon as possible is a little bit better. Yeah. So, Improvise. We'll leave the Servo back since it can block. And we'll get a couple Thopters. Come on, Dawn Feather Eagle. This is the board state for you. All right, making him bigger. Gonna make that a 3/2, I'm guessing. Okay, so we attack with all our flyers and then play Renegade Freighter. And we end our turn. Pretty good against us with all the artifact creatures we have. Ooh, that's really good. Okay. So, we're going to go Spire Patrol, tap down the biggest creature here, which is that guy. And then we're going to crew with Trophy Mage. Yeah. And we're going to attack with Flyers, Renegade Freighter. I could think about attacking with Maverick Thopterus. Yeah, I think I will. I mean, I won't be able to do any shenanigans returning him to my hand or anything like that, but that's okay. Freighter pumps up to a 5/4. Gets blocked, but I'm okay with that. Eating a creature and doing 3. Yeah, I mean, we just eliminate my opponent's board for the most part. Still get in for a ton of damage. And we'll end our turn. And we have enough mana now for Universal Solvent too. Ibex lives on the ground, so we're not too concerned about it. And we'll just blow it up if we draw a land. Well, we can put Revoke Privileges on it, actually. We don't even need to blow it up. Now I think we will, though. Don't want to show my opponent I have Revoke Privileges if I don't have to, so... We attack with everybody. All right, on to the next one. That one went in our favor rather quickly. That was nice. Opponent was green-white. He could have enchantment-based removal, but we didn't see it. So we could think about bringing things in like Trade Winds or Illusionist Stratagem. But I don't think I'm going to. I'd have to see like 2 aura-based removal spells. Blue-white, like us, is where you can really expect it because there's blue aura-based removal and white aura-based removal. So, yeah, I think we just roll with this. Well, that's a bad hand. We do have Renegade Map, which makes it marginally better. I am on the draw. Is this the kind of hand where you keep Renegade, you keep it because you have Renegade Map, which allows you to play Aether Swooper? I don't think so. I think we can probably do better if we mulligan to 6 plus being on the draw. Ooh, maybe not. I hope my opponent goes to 5 too, because we're about to. Oh, he didn't. We're going to go to 5. Ouch. That was a brutal series of hands. None of those were very good. This may be a very quick game. Well, we drew a Plains at least. Handicraft again. Another Plains, okay. Well, we're not completely dead in the water. An island would, of course, be better, but of course now I have efficient construction too. Probably going to have to Caught in the Brights, like whatever his first threatening creature is. Okay, well, at least we both have bad hands. Our opponent is just like all green. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to put Caught in the Brights on that. I think. Yep. Come on, blue mana. Or Renegade Map. I'll take either. Okay. Automaton. It's a 2/3. Gonna put Revoke Privileges on him in my turn. Now we're just drawing all of our removal. Aha! We do have creatures. I mean, from our opponent's perspective. Clearly from our perspective we have creatures since our hand's filled with them, but this is not good, the way the handicraft is getting going here. No attacks, huh? That seems unusual to me. I'm going to play Universal Solvent. Come on, 8 islands. I have like a 1 in 4 chance of drawing you. He drew his white before I could draw my blue. Not good. Okay. That also is not good. I'm going to block the Sage. Just trade. And take 5 or 6, whichever he decides to do to me. Looks like he's going for 6. My God. This is not good. For a while, it looked like we might be able to get there because we drew all of our white removal, but now it's not looking so good. At least he's just putting all his eggs in his Verdant Automaton at this point. But... yeah, that is brutal. Hey, blue mana. I knew it was there. If only I had time for efficient construction. Trophy Mage. I don't quite have mana to get you and play an artifact creature that I grab. So I think I just have to play my biggest creature. But then I'm still dead. I'd have to play 2 creatures to not die. So yeah, we're just dead. So 16, so sure felt like we had 16 lands that game, but our other games have been pretty reasonable. That was just a rough outing. All right, well, he has Fragmentize, which does make these 3 spells worse, but I don't think we change anything. All right, much better, much better. We don't have any early drops, but at least we have a bunch of 3s and 3 mana plus Spire Patrol, all of which are things I'm happy with. Another Spire Patrol. Happy with that too. Aether Swooper. Why are you showing up now? I'm going to play Trophy Mage. And I think I'll get Renegade Freighter. And in my turn, we're just going to take the 2. Okay. I think I just play Renegade Freighter and pass. Could have Fragmentize, of course, but he can play a 5-drop here. Yeah, he does. He does have Fragmentize. I think I trade my Trophy Mage for the Sage. We draw a land, which is really good because it lets us go Spire Patrol, tap down Ibex. That guy has been the bane of my existence. Okay, maybe that's hyperbolic, but all right, we're gonna attack with Spire Patrol number 1. Then I think I play another Spire Patrol. He's putting a counter on that guy. And we're going to keep Thriving Ibex tap down. This should give us a pretty big edge in the race, having 6 damage in the air. And we're still holding on to all sorts of cards in our hands. We're just going to take this. If he just pumps mana into it, we feel pretty good about that. Because that means he's not contributing much to the board this turn. All right. He's going to contribute to the board. There's an Ibex. Okay, there we go. It does come into play tapped, but I think that's okay. I'm going to play Caught in the Brights. I'm going to play Renegade Map, which I did, but I'm also going to play Caught in the Brights on this Thriving Ibex. Attack for 6 in the air. And end our turn. So we'll get a mountain next turn and then play Maverick Thopterist probably. Opponent's going to hit us for 6 here, at least. Could hit us for 7. He probably does hit us for 7. But we're going to present him with 6 damage in the air, and then it's lethal the next turn. So all right, so sacrifice Renegade map, grab a mountain. I think we can attack with both, and then if we have to, we can just block with all the Thopters we make. So play the land, play Thopterist. And we're probably okay. All right, yeah, we got there. All right, well, that was a quick match that went in our favor, so hopefully the next one can go that way as well. I'll see you in the third match. All right, so we're going into the third match, looking to finish with some prizes here. We would like to play first, and this is a pretty good hand. I still have not lived the efficient construction dream, but this hand may give me the ability to. I mean, a good chance I curve into efficient construction into Bastion Mastodon and make at least one Thopter, right? Augmenting Automaton. He's going to hit me for 1 or maybe 2 because I'm not going to block it with my Aether Swooper, I can tell you that. He's just going to hit me for 2. I'm down. Maverick Thopterist. We do need to draw a red for that, but it has been really, really good, as you might expect. If we draw a red, we can actually play it next turn. We do not have anything we can do this turn, though. Does our opponent just pump his Automaton again? I would seriously consider blocking it with a servo if he attacked, just to make him pay the mana, and not be able to play his Salivating Gremlins, basically. Okay, so we're going to attack in the air, and we're going to play Efficient Construction. Which probably means playing Bastion Mastodon next turn is going to be better than playing Bastion Inventor. I'm again in a situation where blocking the Automaton seems pretty good. Making my opponent use half of his mana just to kill my servo is kind of where I want to be. Okay, so we're going to take 4 this turn. Ooh, plus Consulate Dreadnought. My opponent can actually crew that thing right now too. So that's a little scary. I've yet to lose to it a Consulate Dreadnought, but I knew the day could come, and this might be that day. This might be it. Yeah, I mean, the good news is I can make servos who can block it. I mean, Thopters who can block it for the foreseeable future. And I have a servo who can block it. That's a good thing too. But the bad thing is that he's just massive. But we'll play Bastion Mastodon here, who's also quite large, at least, and gives us a Thopter while he's at it. So, what does our opponent do here? He could crew his Consulate Dreadnought, but that's a pretty big cost. He has to tap down all his creatures to do it, and then I can just throw a servo in front of it. Okay, that's much better for our opponent. Unlicensed Disintegration just hurts. Does 3 to us and kills our Mastodon. Question is it going to be better to play the Automaton next turn? Gives him Menace. I think I'm double blocking the Menace guy. Yeah. He goes away. Okay. I think it's probably better to just play my Bastion Inventor, because it's just huge. My opponent has to do a lot to kill it. I do think I probably leave my Swooper back now too, though. Yeah. This Dreadnought. And we do not have a good way of blowing up a vehicle. We probably want to bring in Aether Trade Winds because there's a very good chance our opponent has the aura that can just turn this into a creature, siege modification. So that's worth keeping in mind. Our opponent could play a couple artifacts and make him big enough to crew, which would suck. God, our opponent's removal is very serious. It's some serious removal. It's messing us up. Hungry Flames and Licensed Disintegration have done 5 to us and killed 2 of our creatures. Okay. We're going to play Watchful Automaton, which will give us a Thopter. Also gives us a way to scry and help our draws out here. Help us hit more artifacts or a mountain. But yeah, Trade Wind seems pretty good against this deck. It's also good against like Augmenting Automaton, who sometimes you can just block and they're like, pump all my mana into it. And you're like, Aether Trade Winds. And they're like, there it is. I said it might be in the deck. And there it is. So we definitely want Aether Trade Winds. Maybe Leave in the Dust as well. $10-11. Okay, so Thopter blocks. Doesn't have Trample, just has First Strike. Revoke Privileges will work on it, so I wouldn't mind hitting one of those. Ooh, that'll work too. I'll take it. I will take it. And I will end my turn. We just got to keep scrying and hoping we can hit a way to turn off this Dreadnought. A mountain wouldn't be bad either because we could just block it for a while. He can make his Automaton right now into a 4/4. So I would probably block it with Bastion Inventor and just offer him up the trade there. Ugh, more vehicles. What's up with that? And that is bad for us. Right, I gotta block it with my Bastion Inventor, basically. We're going to scry. I'm gonna put that on the bottom. What do we hit? Land. Not quite dead. We're gonna get to scry a bunch at the end of our opponent's turn, but we're in trouble. He can actually crew both his vehicle. Well, this is already crewed basically, but he can make his vehicle crush us by pumping him up and crewing. Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. We're gonna have to block both of them. And if that happens, I guess our only out is another artifact. Well, or a mountain. Could buy us the time we need to draw what we need. Here he come. Here they come. Boom, boom. Yeah, so we block them both because we have no choice but to do so. And I'm going to scry once. No, thank you. I'm going to scry twice. No, thank you. Yeah, I think we're done with this first game in this match. Spire Patrol, goodbye. Oh yeah, now we're really done. Now there's a revoke privileges, but it's too late. We're just dead on board. Okay, so we do have some good sideboard for this strategy of siege modification. So I think we probably want Aether Trade Winds, and we may want also Leave in the Dust. Trade Winds is nice because it works well with our guys with Enter the Battlefield abilities. So Trade Winds is probably a little better in our deck, but Leave in the Dust also draws us a card, so that's pretty good. Might just like cut a Solvent or something. Seems reasonable. Yeah. Well, would I rather have a Solvent or an Implement? I think I'd probably rather have a Solvent. They would have been decent in that late part of that game. Yeah. I think that's probably good. I would like to play first. Ooh, well, there's another. I think this one's keepable. We do have to draw more lands, but if we do, we're like set. We only need to draw one more land. So I think we're okay, thanks to Renegade Map. We'll get our planes with it is the downside. So if we draw our friend, the Thopterist, we won't be able to play him. Turn 1 Dreadnought. That might be bad for us. So we're going to do this. I've always said that, you know, it's not a strategy that I like playing just because too much can go wrong. But I know I'll lose to it eventually, and that may be what's about to happen. Like a very early siege modification would just, it would hurt. We do have revoke privileges at least. Aw, man. Why you gotta be like that? Well, we do have revoke privileges, but we can't cast it yet. So is this siege modification time for our opponent? Nope, they need double red for it. Ether Poisoner time. Ugh. We are in trouble. Maybe 16 was too few this time. With Renegade Map, I usually feel okay about cutting a land, but we have had mana issues, certainly. I don't think I want to trade, mostly because I have so little going on the board right now that losing my one creature does not seem like the right decision. Okay. I think I play the Freighter. Means I can play the Inventor next turn, at least. But yeah, he can like crew Iron Tread and then crew the Dreadnought, which is not really what I want to be dealing with. And this can't hit them until siege modification gets put on them, so. Ouch, okay. I was at least going to be able to play my Inventor this turn, but not anymore. Oh, now I can, because I drew a land. So that's what we'll do. If he gets one more power in play, though, I'm going to be taking 7 from the Dreadnought. Oh, God. Yep, there it is. There's the power he needed. So crew Iron Tread, crew Dreadnought. We'll just take 7 this time. Oh, he's just attacking with the 6, huh? Well, I'm just taking 6. I guess the Dreadnought really only does 1 more damage. So turning off the ability of one of these to crew doesn't seem too terrible. But I think I'm going to play the Automaton. Like, I could revoke privileges to Foundry Hornet if I wanted to, which isn't terrible. But there's a really good chance he still has 3 power to crew his Crusher, so at this point I'm kind of hoping for siege modification, as weird as that is, because I can't deal with those if they don't have siege modification on them. I'll probably chump it this time with Welder Automaton. Yeah, crew 6. I can swing back for 8, but that's not nearly enough. So my Welder blocks. Caught in the Brights on Salivating Gremlins or Bastion. I think I played the Bastion Mastodon. Got to try to get to 7 mana, basically, so I can blow up one of those vehicles. I'm going to get dreadnoughted. I can feel it. Probably attacks with his flyer too now. Yeah. I think I just take the 8. I think that's what I do. Does my opponent have something here? Ooh, now we're just dead. Oh, our opponent's deck was sweet. Got to give him that. Like the crazy dreadnought stuff worked out for him. And we only managed to go 1 and 2 there, unfortunately. But I think our deck was pretty sweet. It was a fun deck to play. It was blue-white with a little bit of improvise. But, you know, 1 and 2 is better than 0 and 3, right? So thanks for watching. I'll be back next week here with another draft video on Wednesday. And also on my channel, NizzahonMagic, you can find a draft video every Monday. And if you want to make sure you catch more of my draft videos here or anywhere else, you know, subscribe to where I post them. And also, if you want to see more videos from the other content creators here on the Aether Hub, you should also subscribe. Thanks for watching.